The HQ4Baseball T-Ball Coach DVD is designed to help you be successful coaching a team of young kids 4, 5, 6 years old. You need to have several skills to be able to do this. First of all, you need to know how to actually throw the ball, catch the ball, and hit the ball. You need to know the proper mechanics. Secondly, you need to know how to teach that to young players. Sometimes you can be a great player, but if you can't teach, it's very difficult to be a successful coach. Third, you need to know how to recruit help. It's impossible to do it by yourself. Young players need a lot of supervision. They need things to be broken down into short segments to make it work. Fourth, you really need to be organized. You need to pre-plan your practices, your game plans. You really need to approach this like you would any other job, where you really plan ahead on what you're going to do, get organized, and then execute. Last, you need to really be good at communication. Not only do you need to communicate to your players, but it's very important that you communicate effectively with the parents of your players. You can have a lot of distractions if parents don't know what's going on or don't understand why you're doing certain things. So those are the skills that you need, and we're going to take you through those one at a time to help you be a better coach. This is probably the most important one. You may want to do this one a lot. We call it Power T. There might be other names for it. But again, you're starting with them lined up. Their feet are lined up straight at their target. Now, sometimes you can just tell them they're throwing straight into the fence, or you could even have a little target made with something you could just clip onto the fence. Sometimes the more you give them something to throw at, the more fun it is. Okay? You could even set a garbage can out there for a target. The point is, they need to have something that they're aiming at. Okay? So you're going to get their feet lined up so that if you drew a line from one foot to the other and straight out, it would go straight at that target. Okay? So you're going to get them there, and you want them to start with their hand on the ball in their glove, right here in the center of their body. Their feet are in that good athletic position that we talked about. And what they're going to do, you on command, you're going to say ready. This is ready. Then you say separate. They're going to get into that position that we talked about. This is the Power T. Front side, the elbow's pointing right at their target. Their glove is down relaxed. On the back side, the elbow is up even with the shoulder. Their hands on top of the ball, not back like this, not like this. Their elbow's not straight, but they're right here. Now, when you say separate, they break down, and at the same time, this elbow's up, arms up, they're in this position. Okay? Now the next command is check. You want them to get here and stop. When you tell them to check, they should look at their front side and make sure they're lined up. Look at their back side, make sure their elbow's in the right spot. Make sure they can see the back of their hand, that their arm is in the right position. Your job would be to walk along behind them and correct, because you're going to see kids like this. They're going to be this way, they're going to be this way, they're going to be all kinds of things. They might just do this. Okay, so what you need to do is walk around behind them and get them in the right position over and over. So it's ready, separate, check. Now keep in mind, if you're fixing one kid and another kid did it correctly, he could be sitting there for 30 seconds and he'll get tired. You may line them up and do all three at one time if you've got three in a group. You may do them one at a time. Depends on your group, how fidgety the players are. What you don't want to do is lose control. It might be that your throwing coach needs to take them one at a time. Ready, separate, check, look at your target, rotate and throw. That's all we want to do. So the Power T drill is probably the most important one, because that really encompasses the key to the throwing mechanics. So there's a drill that you can do called a clock drill, where the coach would simply stand, have the players lined up, and you could stand there and explain to them, okay, now, if the ball comes here, you're going to put your glove up like this. If the ball comes here, your glove's up here. If the ball's over here, the glove is here. Here, 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 just like the hands of a clock. And so what you want to do is just hold the ball up. Okay, here. And as you move the ball around the clock, the player needs to move their glove to understand the proper position for catching the ball. Okay, if it's right in front, they're here. Again, it's okay to turn it a little bit, here, here. If it's low, then you do turn your glove this way. But you don't want to just have your glove out here, okay? So you can start with just doing it around the clock and having them move their glove. Then you can go, okay, ready, boom. And they've got to put their glove wherever that ball's going to be. Here, here, here. So that the player is learning to react to where that ball is and moving their glove in the right position. Okay, so after you've done that drill for a while, then you need to throw them some balls. Now we're going to talk about hitting. Again, keep in mind that each practice you're going to have a section, a time for hitting. So you can't do everything at one time. What you want to start with in your first few practices is start with, we call it dry swing, which means they're swinging but they're not hitting the ball, okay? So what you want to do is introduce to them the stance. So you want to make sure to get everybody in that athletic position where their feet are 1.5 to 2 times the width of their shoulders, their knees and their ankles are flexed, okay? So that number 1 is the stance. Number 2, the grip. So on the grip, you want to make sure that you're holding it in the first joint of your fingers there, so you can just have them put the bat out front, look at it right there in their fingers, then close their hands around it. When they pick it up, the knuckles that knock on the door should be fairly close to a line, okay? So you're going to get them in a good position and tell them, make sure and check your feet, that they're straight. What you'll have are kids that are standing there like this. Sometimes they'll have their feet in all kinds of different positions. A lot of kids stand like this with their feet out. That's not athletic. You're not balanced. Their feet need to be pointing straight ahead in a good wide stance, their knees and their ankles flexed. So every time you want to insist on proper positioning of their feet. Then you also remind them to check their grip. Now when we get to the ready position, ready, they're going to pick the bat up. You can have them just rest the bat on their shoulder, and it's at a good angle right now, okay? So then when you tell them to pick the bat up, they just should take their hands up. See how my elbows are still relaxed. There are a lot of dads who were taught when they were a kid, get that elbow up. Get that elbow up, and coach will come around and pull it up. I can remember having coaches do that. Well, the simple fact of the matter is you can't hit from there. So the first thing you do when you swing is you drop the elbow. Look what happens to the bat. All of a sudden now I got a flat bat and I'm creating a long swing. So we don't want to do that. What we want is them to simply pick the bat up. So again, it's about as high as their earlobe off their back shoulder, okay? This is a good ready position, right here, okay? So what we're going to do in a dry swing drill, we'll tell them check your feet, check your grip, ready position, and then when we start our swing, we do a little thing called a load. It's just simply we're shifting our weight from our even to kind of back, and then we're going to go, and then we're going to swing, okay? So what we want to do is tell them, okay, check your stance, check your grip, ready position, load, swing, When we swing, we want to try to keep our front foot still as much as possible. We're going to turn on the back foot. You may have heard the expression, squash the bug. That might work. Really what they're trying to do is simply rotate on this back side so that their hip is turning. They're starting out here. They're going to finish here.